Hello, everybody. Aaron here. Welcome to part 3 of my 34th birthday Collins report. This will focus basically just on the Sunday. So, something I should have addressed in part 2 but didn't, and I forgot, and I apologize, was the industrial complex that Perplexity Escape Rooms operates in. A few months ago, actually put in a front gate that you need a combination in order to punch in. Now, while there are signs up on the gate saying if you want the gate combination, all you have to do is call Perplexity and they'll give it to you. This wasn't always the case. In fact, Elsa from Saturday actually messaged me on Facebook Messenger as I was playing Cards Against Humanity on Saturday for the combination, and I gave it to her. And not to repeat the mistakes twice, on all throughout Saturday night and Sunday morning, I was texting everybody I possibly could for Sunday the combination to the gate so that I didn't have the same problem. If you were coming by bus and were walking the rest of the way, you can go around the left-hand side, but if you're coming by car, it's kind of important. Got everybody but like 2, and they just called Perplexity and just went right in. Or in some case, in one person's case, the gate was already open, so they just drove right through. So Saturday night, Melinda dropped out of the killer's house, and while I was bummed about that, the killer's house, for those of you who haven't done it, is a 4-person minimum, 10% maximum, 10-person maximum, and one of the people in the killer's house actually had to drop out because she had lost her job recently and couldn't afford coming all the way from Kitchener and back. So that brought me down to 9. Melinda dropout made it 8, and I was like, okay, as long as 5 more don't drop out of this one, I'm okay. The elevator, one person no-showed, and I later found out she had an abscessed tooth. It was one of my supervisors. Elevator is 2-person minimum, 5-person maximum. Again, I'm not spoiling anything with this. This information is readily available on Perplexity's website, perplexity.ca. Check it out if you haven't done so. So, yeah, 1 dropped out of the elevator, and with a 2-min, 5 max, I'm okay with 4. And with a killer's house with 4-min and 10 max, I'm okay with 8. I was aiming to max out every single team, anticipating dropouts. It's just, I wasn't anticipating so many on the Saturday. Sunday basically ran perfect, minus the one who left for medical reasons. No-showed for medical reasons. So I leave my house and travel to Perplexity again, and I was insanely early. Like, I was a little after 12 o'clock. So I decided to kill some time in the Walmart that's near Kennedy and Steele's, and I was so happy I'd done so because in the magazine department I got this. In another life, it seems, I was a musician, and I still keep up on the guitar scenes as best as I can, but the thing that impressed me the most was Buckethead, for the first time in a decade and second time ever, had one of his songs transcribed. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Buckethead fan, so yeah, I was a happy geek at that point. I came out, ran into an old neighbor of mine, chatted with him and his dad for a couple minutes, a gentleman by the name of Craig Harrison, great guy, wish him all the best in the world. So I walk to Perplexity, and Chris Lauren from night shift on my second job had already beaten me there. I go through the gate and I realize that Kate from the second room is actually here before I am going in through the first room. 2 more co-workers, one being my supervisor Kelly, and another being a gentleman by the name of O'Brien Foster, who was on my shift and then a few months ago got traded to day shift. Came in, and so we had we had 4 out of 5 for the elevator, which is, again, I say fine. We settled a bill, and based on the bookings, I'm doing the elevator, 15-minute break, then I'm doing the killer's house with a completely separate team. So I settled my bill with both of the rooms in advance in order to save some time. The elevator is great for a first date or a double date. But if you're claustrophobic, I don't recommend. Well, no, you know what? It's a pretty big elevator. It looks like one of those service elevators in condo complexes. A lot of puzzles were crammed into that space, and I applaud them for it. Great room, great atmosphere. The puzzles, they're not quite as varied in this one as they are in the others. There's, I think, too many puzzles that are based on diagrams. But, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, Bob's your uncle, literally. So, as we were getting a walkthrough of the room afterwards, I said, like, please make this quick because I'm part of the Killer House booking. So we got walked through, I come down, and Jeanette and Josh actually were there as I was going into the briefing room for the elevator, and by the time I came out of the elevator, everyone was there, including Leonard, who was an invite sort of at the last minute because I literally had gone over the 150 person cap for the amount of people I'm inviting, and then literally a few days beforehand he shows up on the Facebook people you may know section. I was like, yeah, I'm going over cap to bring this guy in. So basically the Killer's House was Jeanette, Josh, Isaac Tong, Leonard Toberg, Kate Pelisek, Nicholas Brody, Michael Fitch, and myself. Jeanette basically did a lot of stuff with Josh. Leonard did a lot of stuff with Isaac, but they went back and forth amongst each other. Kate and Nicholas worked well together because they've known each other longer than they've known me, and I've known them for about 11 years. Mike Fitch was the one outsider of the team, and I purposely made sure to partner up with him so that way he wasn't partnering up with some stranger and clashing with them either on an intellectual level, a psychological level, or an emotional level, or a personality level, or anything like that. Mike Fitch and I know how to get inside each other's heads because we are ex-co-workers, so I purposely made sure that Mike was riding with me until about halfway through the room, and we were trading off mini teams within the room as needed. The puzzles in there were quite varied. I don't even have any critiques about the Killer's House. It's the granddaddy of them all in terms of occupancy. So, let's see. Yeah, I have the script right here for all of the Collins reports. Apparently, I'm already on page 2. So we traveled to Mandarin, which is literally like a few blocks away. It's a large Chinese buffet restaurant for those of you who don't live in Canada that are watching this. It's very high quality food, great buffet, great staff. I can't say anything bad about these guys. I had actually booked for 13 people. They called to confirm that when I was at Shoeless Joe's. No, I was playing Cards Against Humanity, and they called to confirm Saturday afternoon for 13 people. And then when I get there, I was like, look, we're going down to 8. 5 people that I thought were going to be eating with us are not eating with us. And that's fine. Nicholas Brody had to bail early. We skipped Cards Against Humanity entirely because we were only going to be able to play for about half an hour anyways. Chris Lauren actually stayed in the waiting room by himself, poor guy, after the elevator and during the Killer's House. Kelly and O'Brien had to ditch early, which, fine, whatever. So I ended up having 8 altogether, 7/8 of what was the Killer's House and Chris, and they thanked us for letting them know. We were in the bird room. It was so awesome to finally enjoy the full buffet because, as I say in the previous video, I've had issues with red meat in the past. Now I don't have them anymore. So I finally got to have pepper steak at Mandarin, which was, back in the day, it was one of my favorite dishes. Malcolm Acker from Turner Fenton actually showed up as the token 9th person. I felt bad that I had completely forgotten about him, but for work-related reasons, he was only at my birthday for 7 seconds, breaking the previous record for shortest time spent at my birthday of 11 seconds set by Crystal Din in one of my Jays game birthdays. Do I have anything else? Yeah, the journey home, Isaac gave me a lift. All the photos from Saturday and Sunday that weren't duplicates I've already posted on my Facebook page. And alright, I'll just say this out now, I guess. Thank you all for coming. I had 25 physically there. The live streaming probably put me in the 40s and the 50s. Aside from being very, very tired for 2 or 3 days afterwards, so far I have not suffered what was my usual symptoms from excessive socializing, i.e. crying fits, tremors, vomiting, and nosebleeds. And as long as I hold out until the 8th or 9th of May, and as long as I feel that I can still go with the Isaac Tongs, the Leonard Tobergs, the Elsa Corchanes, the Kate Pellisecs, and the Doug Droogs of the world, I got no reason to leave Facebook now. I'm in here for the long haul. That could change if something happens in the coming days, but that's where I stand on my own social paradigm right now. So, if I haven't deactivated my Facebook account by the 10th of May, I'm not deleting it, period. So yeah, that's it for part 3 of 5. So until next time, I'm Aaron, and unlike Storage Wars, my show's scripted. Thanks a lot.